the dismal week of AFL results or just games in general continue. I mean, at least these games were closer in that it was a 10-pointer and an 8-point game. But in reality, it was another absolute stinker for a week, for a day, I should say, the Sunday results with North Melbourne getting over the line by 10 points against West Coast, even though West Coast had another 5 shots. And then Carlton basically bludgeoning over the line against Essendon after only turning up for a quarter and a half, I would say, against them. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so that you know when I upload in the future, especially when we start to get into AFLW content. I know that I was looking last night about the when the game's going to come out, the fantasy game, and it looks like it's still another month away, but I plan on getting out some content in the next couple of days as I do some research now for that as well. But anyway, let's jump into this video. So if you look at this game and you go, oh, Harry Sheezel, what a game from him in general, you'd be like, you'd be missing the whole context of what happened, because man, was that a stinker. He had, I believe it was an 86-point second half, which definitely helps. A 53-point last quarter definitely helps. I'm pretty sure he was on, I will just double check this as well, because it might have been an actual 89-point second half. I just need to double check that. So he had 36 and 53. So yeah, it was an 89-point second half. And I can tell you it was 104 super coach points. He was on 33. So I know that might have got rescaled technically speaking, but at halftime he was on 30-33. A 30-33 split, and he had 28 touches, 7 marks, 7 tackles, and a behind, and 5 marks and 6 tackles happened in the second half. So he wasn't even on track for that bad of a game non-disposal wise. It was just the disposals. He got stuck on the bench for 12 minutes as well. So yeah, if I actually just quickly look at North Melbourne advanced and his TOG in the second quarter, he was on TOG-wise 52%, and then the first quarter as well, he was on TOG-wise 76%. So quarters 3 and quarters 4, he had 91% and 90%. Let the boy free, 10 meters behind the ball. I know that I said that, or put out a tweet about that, basically saying the difference between him, and we can actually search this up, to be honest with you. Here we go. That's probably just going to be this. Here you can see Sheezel 10 meters in front of the ball is an above average player. Like, he's still decent, but he's not as damaging. Sheezel 10 meters or 5 meters behind the ball, running straight through the contest on the outside, getting the handball. He's one of the best in the game. That we saw this as well with Nick Blakey as well, being able to do this. When they start to get the handball receives, these type of players, Sheezel, Blakey, that have those damaging kicks and have the really good IQ. I know that Blakey's a little bit, what about what's going to happen? But these type of players, even like the likes of Nick Dacos and Josh Dacos and those type of players there, they're the type of guys that you want just sitting as that almost fifth midfielder. You want one in front of the stoppage, you want one behind. You want Sheezel patrolling behind the stoppage, because they are just so dangerous when they can get that handball receive and then introduce their run, because a lot of them are really quick as well, but they're really good by foot and they're really good decision makers. When you combine all those 3 or 4 attributes, if you would put agility in there as well, they're really, really damaging when they come off the back of stoppage. So yeah, he was outstanding. Kind of surprised with how low Cherry's score is, to the point that I did consider sort of taking it on with Max Gawn, the 111, sorry, not the 153. I'll take the 153, but the 111, I thought about taking it on against Darcy Cameron, because that was a little bit surprising how he really struggled. But then again, I'm sort of like, it's a 111. It's not the end of the world there, to be honest with you. You might just want to take it there. Tom Powell, all right. Luke Parker, he was back to his best. Caleb Daniel, that's an interesting one that we got rid of him, and now he looks back to his best. I'd need to just double check his stats in terms of the last quarter. If I just go to North Melbourne, and then the last quarter, Caleb Daniel had in the last quarter only, 19 points, and then in the third quarter as well, he had 16, so 35-point second half in fantasy terms. I don't know about that, so I might take another week of looking at Caleb Daniel. Obviously, we'll hold him in Supercoach. Colby McKercher, another one as well, 35 touches. He just racked it up. So there's definitely a couple guys here that I'm looking at going, very, very interesting here for North Melbourne. But in matter of fact, we do have to probably put about 20% buffer on because it is West Coast that they were playing, and they were able to stand up in the clutch and come over the top of them as well. And then LDU, that was really surprising from him. George Wardlaw just couldn't get involved too much there. Only 9 touches to him, 7 tackles, and that's pretty much it. And then anyone who went Riley Harden pretty much got stuffed over there. 10 touches from him. It basically happened that Harry Sheezel went back, and as well as Colby McKercher, and that just ruined Hardeman's role. And so, yeah, that's why sometimes with these type of guys, it's really hard to actually go for them based on the fact of only one game. Because if you take out that one game from Hardeman, I think he's averaging something like, I want to say it's something like 40 or so. But yeah, there we go. Then we go over to West Coast. No tons for them. No real good performances, I would say. But yeah, Duggan, 91-114. He was all right. 23 touches though, 8 tackles, 4 marks, 4 tackles, 8 non-disposal acts. And so, yeah, he was pretty decent. Brady Hoff's an interesting one. If he continues to get this on ball that I think he's been getting, that could definitely be interesting. Jack Graham, 83-85, probably holding out Clay Hall and Gross from the side. Matt Flynn, he really had a really rip-roaring start and then just fell away in the second half. Elijah Hewitt, I'm pretty happy that he got the 85 there. Some cash gen in the Supercoach side. Was probably considering almost trading him to get to like Butters, but we'll have to probably find another way there, another avenue. But yeah, we'll see how that goes there. But he definitely had a really decent game again. He's going to be probably a flip almost straight to the likes of a Callum Mills, I would say, for me. Next in a couple of weeks time, I think, because that will be, I think they both, Callum Mills comes off the bye and Elijah Hewitt might come onto the bye in the same week, which could be just a really good 1-for-1 split there, because I feel like Callum Mills could easily go a lot higher, and I don't know if Elijah Hewitt has the consistency in him. Liam Baker, Tyler Brockman, Harley Reid was all right, did it in spurts, but then again, he still has that really high ceiling, low floor. Ryan Marrick, 68-67, he's lost the role. McCarthy hopefully comes in next week, which would be good. I think he had 20 touches and a goal, I want to say, in the waffle. And then, yeah, Ruben Jimby's still a pretty quality defender. Don't know who exactly he was on, because if he was on Paul Curtis, then he struggled. But yeah, he or if he was on Cam Zerha. So he might not have had the best display there, but he still did pretty well against Jeremy Cameron. I don't remember who he was on this week, as I watched the first like half and a bit of this game. And then, yeah, a lot of the other guys just struggling there. Sandy Brock doing pretty well for Supercoach wise with a 35-70 split. And then Bo Allen with a 0, a little bit annoying there, but he's going to be min price next year. Hopefully when the sub rule goes, it will help him out dramatically. Because he could be a guy that could be well underpriced next year. We'll just see how he goes. Then we get to the second game of the day with the Blues limping over the line, you'd almost say, against Essendon. Let me just resize this for you guys. But yeah, George Hewitt was outstanding, a 125, 114, 29 touches for him, 5 marks, 9 tackles. Absolutely amazing display. We knew Tom De Koning would do this against a rather easy matchup against Todd Goldstein. He ended up with 23 touches, 5 marks, 3 tackles, 29 hit outs and a goal. Sam Doherty, definitely a guy as well we can consider on both formats, I think. Out of the bye, he looks to have this rollback that he's done, we know before. He's got historical value there. I don't know what exactly he's on in terms of his Supercoach pricing. You'd think, yeah, I was going to say 380s, but he is a midfield only, but you'd also expect him to potentially get DPP. Let's just check if he goes, would he go against Essendon? He went, in fact, let's just check a 107. Let's check a 107 in here and just see what he goes up to. I would hazard a guess about 400k, 401k. So there's some type of potential of going like a Lindsay almost straight to the likes of a Sam Doherty and just going down the value path there and hoping Sam Doherty gets DPP in round 18. Something like that. Could also look at Matt Carroll there going and getting rid of him, as he's going to go down in price dramatically. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking at. The good thing is for me, next week it looks like McRae and Horn-Francis are back, which should help dramatically my team actually have players because I held them. Ollie Hollands, 109, 122. A lot of Carlton fans said it was his best game that they've seen him play from the moments I got to watch, because I came back with about a quarter and a half to go, I would say. From the moments I saw, he looked outstanding. I thought Adam Chera had a really good game as well. From the moments I saw, he was dominant in the midfield. Sammy Walsh as well, 32 touches, 14 contested, 7 clearances. He was also dominant. I think as well with Essendon, their midfield is very, very light at the moment, because they've had to move their best midfielders out of there to accommodate Darcy Parish, because Darcy Parish is better than the half-backs that they've got. So they've had to basically put Darcy Parish in the midfield and Zach Merritt at half-back, and it just creates just a slowness in that midfield, having Darcy Parish and centrefield in there alongside Caldwell. Durham's basically the only dynamic one in there. So yeah, they've really, really slowed down that midfield and lessened the ball users out of there. There's not really a good ball user in that midfield anymore. So that means that, their midfield gets whacked. And they're basically relying on halfbacks to kick it well. And it did all right this week, but you'd expect in future weeks that probably won't happen. But it'll be interesting if Mason Redman is back next week, which I don't know if he will be, whether that will help out their, in terms of just their overall setup. Sammy Walsh, we talked about. Blake Acres, I thought he had a decent game as well. Kicked it a lot better. 65% is probably almost his ceiling, 65-70%, whereas he's definitely got a floor in the 20s and 30s%. So we've seen that. Nick Haynes, Cooper Lord did pretty well. I'm just worried about his job security. Charlie Curnow with 2 goals, 2 on Laverde's, probably not the best output. Probably didn't help that he also didn't have Harry Mackay alongside him. Motlop had a pretty decent game. Sard had a really good game from what I've seen of the highlights of the first couple quarters. He was instrumental in getting their drive off half back. Zach Williams, I thought, had a really decent enough game as well. And then Hudson O'Keefe did really well in a debut game. 5 marks, all of them contested, 4 tackles and 8 hit-outs is a pretty decent display from a backup ruck, or a ruck forward, I would say. And then Carroll, disappointing, he was subbed out, because that could have easily been sort of a 65 or 70 alongside a 50, which would have been huge for cash generation and just scores in general. And then that's pretty much it. And then we go here to Essendon and Jai Caldwell. What a big trade in for those that traded him in. Basically trading in a guy at about 80 or 90 for a 110 and 102. He probably could have kicked on a little bit further, but I think he just got himself gassed out trying to help run that midfield. And yeah, he had 15 contest possessions, 5 clearances. Nick Martin as well kicked a huge goal in the last quarter, 106, 112. Really wish I'd gone him over the likes of Merritt, because that would have just sorted out my ability to just start on both platforms, my ability to actually just get in midfielder after midfielder after midfielder, rather than trying to get these other guys in, because the forwards are just so bad for me at the moment, to the point that I don't really want to purchase one of them, but I kind of need to purchase them, etc., just to fill in the gaps and voids and stuff. But yeah, Caldwell, outstanding. Nick Martin, outstanding again. They need to give Nick Martin almost the keys to that midfield. Darcy Parish did all right, but not outstanding. 31 touches at 58% is all right. Gresham McGrath kicked it pretty good today, or yesterday, I should say. Durham had 11 clangers, which is one of the highest I've seen this year, so he didn't do the greatest. Durham Johnson here with 79.84. He will be a really, really popular rookie. It just depends with him and Jackson what you do. You really wished that the Essendon were on round 14 bye, so that you could grab one and then grab the other next week. But it is what it is with those guys. But yeah, I think that they will be the popular rookies to trade in. I don't know their positioning. I think one of them might have defender, which could help. One of them might be a midfielder. One might be even a forward. They might even have DPP. I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure one of them does. So it'll be interesting to see where each direction people go with. Zach Merritt's role has been nullified. 64% ball use, so his ball use doesn't really improve down back, and he's just limited the disposals that he gets. Needs to get him back into the midfield if there's any hope of getting anywhere this season. Desmond, all right. Lamar, I'm going to butcher it. Lamar Lawal, 59-38, and he kicked a goal as well. Really good debut game. Don't expect him to play much, just because I fully expect the likes of Redmond to come back in and guys like that. I think they start filtering back, but yeah, he was all right, but we'll see how if he gets more games. Angus Clark, 58.71. Really good to see him get a decent enough game back again. More cash generation. If he can get into the 200Ks, then we're starting to get that cash generation that can be combined to make a primo out of somewhere. Guelphy, all right. Laverde, Roberts, Caddy, Pryor, Perkins. Pryor's done all right, but probably time finally to let him go. I think he's at around that 370, 360k range. I'm not exactly sure. Perkins, Hobbs, Goldstein, and Archer, Day, Wicks. And that pretty much is the video. I wanted to keep this one relatively short for the Sunday games as we head into the Monday King's birthday game in a couple of hours between Melbourne and Collingwood. So I will see you guys probably in a video maybe released tonight or tomorrow morning about the my team and the results there that I've got across Fantasy and Supercoach for the round. And then I think trade targets as well might be recorded on the Wednesday night, I think. And then you'll have the team previews and on the Thursday. That'll be on the Thursday. And then you'll have, that'll probably be Thursday or Wednesday night. And then you'll have everything as it usually is. And then maybe a Saturday or Sunday, we pull out a AFLW initial thoughts video, I think, going into this season upcoming in about 10 weeks or so. So anyway, I'll see you guys in those videos in the future. Bye, guys.